It's not cheap to buy good quality inner tubes these days, so it's not a bad idea to learn how to repair them yourself if you get a puncture. Now, we've already done a video on how to replace an inner tube, so if you're unsure how to get your wheel out or how to get the inner tube out of the tyre, you might want to head there first. Now, these days you can get self-adhesive patches which are perfect for a quick trailside fix, but if you're at home, the safer option is still your traditional puncture repair kit. A lot of these come with a pair of tyre levers in order to get the tyre off in the first place, and all of them will come with glue, some sandpaper in order to rough up the surface of the inner tube, which aids the adhesion of the patches, and you get various patches in different sizes. Now, you might wonder why you need different sizes of patches. The reason for that is, of course, if you've got a small thorn going to the tyre, then you just need one single small patch. But if you've got a snake bite puncture, which is quite common on a mountain bike, which is where the tyre compresses against the rim, you can often get two holes away from each other, and in that instance, one of the larger patches is more adequate. Right, so the first thing you're going to have to do is locate where the hole is on the tube, and for that you're going to need to inflate it using a pump. If you've got a very large hole, it's going to be immediately obvious exactly where the air is escaping from. If it's slightly smaller, then what you can do is run the inner tube next to your ear, and often you can hear where the air is seeping out. If you can't hear it, if it's a particularly small hole, then the next step is to take your inner tube to a sink, and that way you'll be able to see where the bubbles are escaping from. Okay, so make sure that your valve is done up, and then gradually submerge the inner tube in the water. So this one's pretty obvious exactly where it is. You see a lot of air coming out. So once you've located it for certain, dry it off, and then you want to mark where it is so that you don't lose it again. A lot of puncture repair kits will come with some chalk to do this, but anything that allows you to locate it, pen, just so that you don't lose where that hole is. Okay, once you've marked where the hole is, you can let the rest of the air out of the inner tube by undoing the valve and pressing it in. The next thing we want to do is take our small piece of sandpaper and just rough up the surface all the way around our small hole. And as I said, that will help the adhesive of the glue and the patch when we come to put that on. So the next step is to put the actual glue on itself. Now, most of the instructions say apply sparingly, and that is an important note to make. You don't want to put too much on, a little goes a long way. Once you've applied the glue, you need to wait for it to dry slightly, which takes around 5 minutes. Perfect for a cup of tea or coffee if you're in the US. Okay, the next step is to remove the foil from the back of the patch. Most patches do look like this. Sometimes they don't have foil on the back. And of course you want the centre of the patch to be over the hole as exactly as you possibly can. Make sure you get it over the centre and that there's glue underneath all of where the patch is. Press it down firmly with your finger, and it's quite a good idea to take something that's not sharp but fairly solid and just press it down to make sure that there's no air trapped underneath the patch. And again, I'm going to leave that just for a couple of minutes to set before we take this plastic off the top. You need to be careful that you don't take the patch off with it, so start rolling it backwards. If you do find it starts to pick it up, just use your nail to gradually pull it away from the plastic and make sure it stays on the tyre. That's pretty much job done. If you've got some chalk that comes in your puncture repair kit, it's good for two things. Firstly, you can use the chalk to mark the area where the hole is in the first place, and secondly, they normally come also with a small grater, so if you grate some of the chalk up and just put it over the top of the patch, it will stop the glue surrounding the patch from sticking to the inner tube when you put it back inside the tyre. If you're very confident in your abilities, then you can just put the inner tube back inside the tyre and pump it up. I'm not, so we're going to put it back into the sink and just check there's no bubbles emerging from around the patch. Okay, that looks like it's perfectly fixed, so we just need to put it back into the tyre and pump it up. And again, if you don't know how to do that, please check out our other video.
By undoing the brakes and then undo the quick release. If it's the front wheel, you need to unwind the quick release slightly so that it clears the safety tabs at the bottom of the forks.